do you have a sort of, how do you work out the time frame for each individual company and production?
Us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Time frame. Well, from the seed is sown till the performance is out, it can be a couple of years, if that's what you're thinking about. Production period will be.
Yeah, I'm talking about from start to.
Yeah, starting. Well, it's a minimum of 1 year, but very often it's at least 2 years, because we are always planning a year or two ahead. So we know now what we're going to do in 2014. Yeah.
Any other?
Can I just ask a question for you as well? When you do co-productions, when you've done a production, do you let them go and then do you get royalties? Do you plan all the touring, or do you let the companies go?
No, I mentioned it. Then the show is the company's own.
Yeah.
To run and to administrate and all, but we do assist them a little bit on the way.
If they need to.
Yeah. So just to make sure that he stands on its own feet, and maybe help them to do 1 or 2 like important venues at a festival abroad, which always helps the ball start running.
And as the companies, are they bound to a contract in saying that we can put you on tour? We own you, not own you, but we have, if we need to, we can use you for 2 years. Is that a sort of contract they do?
Yes and no. They are in the contract. There will always be obligation for the company to perform like a minimum of 20 performances in our region, which is like maybe 3 weeks of touring. But that's if we are able to sell the show, of course, and we do pay for the tour as well. We pay the fees and the traveling, the lodging, and everything. So tour is a good deal if you get it.
What kind of places? Is that the cultural houses, or are you talking about for schools, or all of the above?
Well, if we talk about our county, it's 44 municipalities, and maybe 6 or 7 of them have a black box or a cultural house in a way. So it's mostly gymnasium halls. When we do touring, we tour with everything. We need a space and a plug for power. So we bring the floor, we bring the walls, we bring the roof, we bring a touring black box. If that's what the show needs.
What it needs.
Is there any similar places like that in Austria? Do you have any similar? Yeah.
No, like this not. No.
Do you also in Austria tour in schools, or?
Yeah, I mean the companies which are touring in schools, but let's say that's more commercial. Yeah. I mean, we have some productions which are at an artistic level, which go in schools, but not so much.
Because you don't have the same thing as we have here in Norway with a cultural rucksack, where you know.
We don't have the cultural rucksack.
It's really expensive though. So.
Very expensive.
But the artists are happy about it.
If you're working quite experimental with theatre for children in Austria, where should, or in Norway, where should you go, or who should you contact in Austria? Is it festivals, or do you have theatre houses, many theatre houses?
Juggling.
Where?
No, I mean we have festivals. Yeah. I mean, sorry, I forgot to explain before. In the ASSITEJ International, in the last congress in Copenhagen, Malmö, changed the constitutions where it's not only every 3 years a congress, it's also now every year one international meeting, and it's combined with an international festival. And this year it was in Okinawa, and next year it is in Linz. So it means whenever it's a little bit the meeting point then for the international organizations, where there will come a lot of people from all over the world. You can have the card, and the topic of the meeting is facing the artists. In Okinawa it was facing the society, so they look about all the topics of society, crisis and so on. And in Linz it will be all on the vision and the view from the art and the artists. And then in Warsaw, 2014, when there's the Congress, it will be facing the audience. okay, back to the question. I mean, in Austria, in a way, it's the Jungle Winter Theatre House, and we have 4 festivals which are looking for contemporary work. Yeah.
Hilde?
I would like to say that this, of course, is an important one of many reasons why you're here, Stefan, because ASSITEJ Norway will be going to this meeting and to your festival with a delegation. We're hoping to bring people with us because it's a good opportunity to see a good festival and also meet with the international ASSITEJ network. But I have a question about financing, because we all have a situation in Europe which is challenging, to say the least. Now, from your perspective, and also from your perspective, what are the chances of Norwegian artists actually bringing quite a lot of financing from their own country in getting into international collaborations? Is it growing? The chance of growing? And if so, how do you see changes in the structure in Europe? And what does it mean for Norwegian artists to go into collaboration with partners in countries that are much more insecure and uncertain when it comes to financing?
I should answer. No, yeah, I think the thing with Euro projects is like a big thing where people try to save their lives lately, and we have also a lot of emails every week about people we really don't know that want to invite us to work with them. And I mean, you can't do that. I mean, there is always, at least for me, an artistic reason to go into a collaboration. And yeah, really very much standing behind what you said earlier on with the 3 steps. But yeah, so that's from my point of view. I can send it down there.
Yeah, again, well, of course, we see that it's a lot of it's much more difficult for the international companies now to get support from their home base or from their home country, especially from Eastern Europe, Russia. To do the Russian project, we applied for the Barents region because we could apply as a Norwegian institution, and we got their part of the money from the Norwegian or from the Barents fund. So in that way we were able to do the show. But when we bring in companies from Netherlands or from England or from anywhere in Europe, it's more and more difficult for them to get money, especially with the cutbacks in Netherlands now. I think it's 40% of everything is gone.
Does that mean companies come to Europe or to Norway for life saving?
In a way.
Instead of for artistic reasons?
I mean, I think it's for Norwegian companies it can get better in the future, because like we had this situation. I mean, Norway is a rich country, yeah, and that means you can offer a lot. For example, in European community projects, they're often looking also for partners out of the European Union. Yeah, but to be partner in it, and I think Norway, for example, could be a player in it. The main thing I can always say a little bit from the theater dance field for young audience. There's not enough contacts. There's not enough exchange. Yeah. I mean, honestly, for myself, I had contact to NIE, and that was it till 2 years ago. When we come in contact, so there's not enough exchange, and that's the main problem. So Norway's in the Norway's, and also in a little bit because NIE is very well known, but it's not really well known as a Norwegian company.
No, it's an international company.
It's an international company.
It's not Norwegian.
So that means when you speak about Norwegian art for young, dance theater for young audience, most of the people can say anything.
So there is work to be done for in Norway to invite Europe to come to
or to go out
and to go out.
Yes, but it's I mean I think my thesis.
The Danish, you know, the Danish children see the field and make it in a very strong way to discover the world. To missionary the Swedish also. Yes, so what we know is about Denmark and Sweden, and a little bit Finland, but nothing about Norway.
Yeah, but the Danish have been very hard on having the showcases or having the small
Yeah, I mean,
festivals,
they have the
inviting in
festival,
40,
they
50
invite,
delegates.
40 till 60 people, and they spread out all over the world with the Danish concept and so on.
Yeah.
So
The Danish concept.
Yeah, I think there's also a problem with the cultural rucksack in Norway, that actually people are a little bit trapped in work.
Yeah.
You know, they don't look out; they actually just look in and
Yes.
looking to the next school I'm going to.
Yes.
And
That's true.
and also holding back ambition a little bit from going out. So
Network at all.
no,
yeah.
good.
And this is something what is the main thing, because you cannot. I think what you have also said, it needs time. It needs time to understand, to come in a relation, till you come in a production, till you come in a cooperation. So, and under 3 years, it's impossible. Otherwise, you risk too much to fail, and fall in all the problems that you can have. But for this, you have to meet. You have to be in contact. You have to understand. You have to.
Be out there.
Be out there.
Take off the nisselua.
Good. Any further other questions? Any other business? We're starting to talk about something else now. I have one more question. To you, Stefan. Fresh Tracks Europe. It's a network for dance mainly.
Yeah.
Is that because it's easier to sell dance at the moment?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So it's. I just want to
when you
hear
want
that.
to travel a lot, then make dance productions for very small children, and you will travel a lot.
Yeah.
I know it from my own experience.
So it's really a pragmatic choice.
Yeah, it is sure, because I mean this language you have, it's normal. When you work for children, you have a big problem with the language, with text. For youngsters, teenagers, you can maybe translate in English. But for children, you can only do if it's visual, if it's puppet, if it's dance, or you can translate it, or it's easy to translate. But otherwise you cannot tour. And then from 12, 13 years up, it's working with English.
So do you predict the death of international theatre? Do you predict the death of international theatre?
The death?
The death.
No, the opposite. He said it's going to be more.
No, I think that the difference is like what you want.
Yeah.
If you want to tour, that's this. But if you want to cooperate, if you want to co-produce, then you also can make it with theatre.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just a little bit more difficult.
It's another work. It's another work. I mean, for example, what was it was so strange. What I remember now, in Germany, there was a big project founded by, I don't know, the government, which they decided 20 theater houses to go in international cooperations, and for 3 years also. And they get a lot of money. Every theater gets something like 200,000 euros to make a 3-year step. And this, for example, and then it was also how to do it in these different steps to bring theater from whatever Mannheim with
Bangalore in India. Yeah.
And for example, this was a theater corporations, but with this long term and with the possibility, because they had money, it really changed, give them a lot in their own work, in their own artistic vision, in an exchange. I mean,
that was a very successful project. I mean, that was very good. Good. I mean, we're running out of time. If there's any other questions, I think we take a cup of coffee and a cigarette for those who smoke. And
Thank you.
Thank you.